No man carries the same fire at the end that he carried at the beginning. The first fire is loud. It burns for conquest, recognition, appetite, and proof. The last fire is quiet. It burns for memory, for meaning, for what will remain once your hands are empty. Every man who lives long enough is eventually asked the same question, not by a priest, not by a judge, not by the world, but by the slow tightening of time itself. What will survive you? The fires you were given. No man begins the road empty-handed. You were given a name, a language, a code, whether spoken or silent, a posture toward fear, a relationship with work, duty, and restraint, a way of carrying pain. Some of that was forged with care, some of it was inherited through damage, some of it you had to rebuild from ash. But you were given fire, even if it came to you in embers. And for most of life, you use that fire to build yourself, your strength, your position, your skill, your family, your standing in the world. This is necessary, but it is not the end of the story. There comes a moment, quiet, unannounced, when the fire in your hands stops belonging only to you. You feel it when your children start watching more than listening. Younger men begin copying your posture. Someone waits for your reaction before giving theirs. Silence falls because your words have weight. Your absence changes a room. This is when the fire becomes a trust, not a possession, not a weapon, a trust. You are now a carrier, not an owner. The world will try to tell you that legacy is measured in property money, achievements, records, titles, digital footprints. These things vanish faster than men expect. Wealth dissolves, structures fall, documents rot, names fade. What endures is what cannot be seized. Discipline, courage, restraint, mercy, honor, endurance. The refusal to abandon what matters. You do not pass these through inheritance law. You pass them through exposure. The last fire is not ambition. It is orientation. It is the final shaping of how fear is handled, how duty is held, how anger is restrained, how suffering is endured, how power is carried without becoming poison, how meaning is forged without applause. This is the fire that teaches without speaking, the fire that lives in. The way you stand, the way you listen, the way you move under pressure, the way you finish what you begin, the way you protect without being asked, the way you keep your word when no one would ever know if you broke it. This is the fire that outlives you. Some men reach the later years and grow soft in the wrong ways. They trade structure for indulgence. They trade discipline for nostalgia. They trade standards for comfort. They believe they are owed rest. Rest is not the danger. Decay is. The fire dims not because the body ages, but because the man forgets that he is still being watched. The last fire is not burned for conquest. It is burned for instruction. To hand the fire forward is not to preach. It is to embody. You hand it forward when you refuse to grow bitter. You refuse to grow careless. You refuse to surrender your standards for ease. You remain steady when your strength is no longer explosive. You continue to tell the truth, even when it costs you warmth. You teach younger men that strength is not a phase. Duty is not seasonal. Honor is not. Cultural responsibility does not retire. You teach without teaching. By still standing. At the end, the measure is simple. Not what you owned, not what you gained, not how loudly you were known. But did someone become steadier because they saw you endure? Did someone learn restraint because they saw you practice it? Did someone refuse to quit because you never modeled quitting? Did someone learn to hold the line because you never left yours? If so, you handed the fire forward. One day your hands will loosen. You will not be able to carry the weight the same way. You will not be able to stand the watch the same way. You will not be able to shield the same way. That is not failure. That is succession. The last fire is not about how long you burn. It is about whether the flame still walks the world after your breath leaves it, and if you lived with discipline, with restraint, with responsibility, with courage that did not need witnesses, then somewhere, in a son, in a daughter, in a student, in a younger protector, in a stranger you'll never meet, the fire is already moving.